Not only is the 60-year-old man dating a 27-year-old, now we find out he's been hiding the fact that he has kids. Yes, episode 3 of Age of Attraction just took a turn because honestly, Netflix really said age gaps weren't enough, let's add secrets too. Let's talk about it.
Kay Unscripted, no teeth restricted. In this journey, watch our stories unfold.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is Kay Unscripted and I am your girl Kay. Today we are getting into Age of Attraction, Season 1, Episode 3. And listen, the age gaps were already wild, but now we're adding secrets and lies into the mix. Before we get into all the drama, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this recap with a friend who watches the show. Alright y'all, let's get into it. So Jorge just revealed to Vanelle that he is 60 years and the girl is shook. I am shook too. Even if I called that age, I was still shook when he actually said he's 60 years. Now, instead of her running for the hills, she said she felt like she was meant to come to the experiment to meet someone like him. And she seals that with a kiss. Oh, Vanelle, I'm scared for you because what is this? What is happening? Somebody call her daddy because we know her daddy is not going to be happy with that decision at all. Y'all, he said this is my baby and he didn't lie. This is his baby. Literally. He said he doesn't care what anyone thinks. She, on the other hand, is saying that he's the same age as her parents. And doesn't that sound crazy to you? Could never be me. But Vanelle, girl, open your eyes. Now we get to the next activity, which is tennis. We see Phifer and Derrick link up on this date. He feels like the connection is genuine and he's ready to tell her about his kids. Again, I just feel like that's a bit manipulative because why didn't you tell her that from the jump? But anyways, he lets her know that he wants to share something about his life with her. He says that he has 2 boys and she was just like, okay, because she doesn't have kids, but lets him know that she does want to have kids in the future. So she's asking him if he's open to having more and he said yes, absolutely. So it doesn't bother her that he has kids, but it's now made her second guess his age in her mind. She was thinking that he was probably in his 30s. I don't see it, but I think he's definitely hitting 40. She then asked how fatherhood is to him. He says it's going great. So Phifer shares that she grew up with her dad because her mom was very career focused. So I guess that means her mom is not really in her life like that. She's probably around, but they don't really have too much of a close relationship. Derrick too shares that he was raised by his dad and that his father was a military dad. So that was something that they connected on. Then we see Leah and Chris. They're having massages. Well, he's massaging her. And she's like, tell me why you like me. And he was like, well, you know, we were smiling at each other 40 feet away. And yeah, that's it, you know. That's all you have to say. Now, I personally do not trust Chris because he was just up under Vanessa, promising to go see her and all of that stuff. They were kissing and doing a whole lot. Now, all of a sudden, you're so into Lisa. And I just feel like Lisa is just going to take on anyone who's interested in her. Really, I don't really see any connection between these two. So miss me with that. Now later on, she asked him who did he give a massage before her, and he dodged that question. Then in his confessional, he's going to say, oh, I wasn't about to tell her that a few days ago I gave Vanessa a massage. Now you see why I don't trust him. He know he's raggedy for that, because why would you keep that information from her? And that's going to come up later. Okay. Did you see how he tried to kiss Leah? I just feel like these two are just doing a lot of physical. There's probably a lot of physical attraction between them, but I don't see anything past the physical. But he does end up giving her a kiss on the forehead. That was really awkward and weird. Yeah, send him home. Now, just as we spoke about Vanessa, we then see her on a hike with Logan. And I'm wondering if this is the same hike or if this is another hike, because, girl, is that the only activity y'all get to do? Because we just saw y'all on another hike the other day, all right? They're vibing though, and we hear Logan saying that his age range for dating is around 43 to 44. But once he's dated someone older, it has never been serious. But he's here to find someone serious, and he finds that in Vanessa. There's there's not really too much happening on this date, but that's really all we get to see. And I also do not trust Logan at all. Now we see Wes, who is heading to the promise room with Joleen. We see some flashbacks of their dates together. He thinks that they're on the same page and he wants to be with her. Now I remember her saying that he seems a bit immature, but she's thinking about a lot of things like living together, waking up next to him, and just pretty much doing life with him and how that's going to look for her. So anyways, they both get to the promise room. He's saying that he's been set on her from day one because of the way she looks, the way she carries herself, and he didn't see any of the girls as an option. So he then places the ring on her finger, asking if she would want to continue the journey with him. Now, once she starts stammering, once she starts biting her tongue, I'm like, oh, it's not going to go the way Wes thought it was. You just know that something is wrong. She says that their connection is strong, but she's not ready to make a commitment to move in and live together right now. She feels like he is much younger and feels like he does have some growing up to do. Remember, she said she feels like he's immature. So that is also a factor, and she feels like there needs to be some growing up before they actually take that step. He's like, well, can I convince you? So she's like, well, give it a shot. He says that it's been smooth sailing, like everything is so easy and it's not really that serious. She says, well, see, that's the problem. That's it right there. You think it's not serious, but this is serious to me. It's not all about fun. So you literally just prove to her that y'all are not on the same page. He's like, well, I am mature, I am serious. But then she asks his age and he reveals that he's 30. And she says, well, that's still a little young for me. But come to find out, she is 48 years. Now, Wes seems a bit disappointed that she turned him down. But I really applaud Joleen for being honest about what the situation is and not kind of forcing it like we see some of the other couples are trying to do. She feels like while she may be letting him down, she just knows that marriage isn't always about fun, and she's looking for someone who is in it for the long run and who's not just here to have fun. We then see a conversation between Derrick, Jorge, and Chris. Derrick is saying how confident he feels in his connection with Phifer, and how he has just laid everything out on the table to her, and he's ready to head to the promise room because he has been so vulnerable with Phifer. Now, when Chris is asked by Jorge if he's ready to go to the promise room with Leah, he shares a bit of hesitance. He does catch it, but he feels like he's ready. And again, I just feel like this is a very forceful relationship. These people know that they're not even connecting on that level, but they're going to make it work for the cameras, right? Derrick then shares in his confessional that his parents split up when he was 8. His mom was 8 months pregnant, and somehow he spent more time in the courtroom with his mother, right? He does share that his relationship with his mom has been great. He gets really emotional while he's talking about it and said that he hasn't always been open and has usually dealt with his disappointment by closing up. But now that he's with Phifer, she has allowed him to open up and share parts of him that doesn't always feel good to hear about. Okay, so then we see Logan and Vanessa hanging again. The fact that we're seeing this couple so many times lets us know that these two are going to be going to the promise room at some point. Okay, she tells him that she was seeing Chris, but it didn't really last. She didn't really see herself having something with him long term. So she asked what makes the timing right for him. He explains that the last year he's just been focused on himself and his career, and he struggles sometimes to do many things at one time. So dating has kind of been in the back burner for him. She also shares that she has been single for 4 years and has been in toxic relationships. But in her last relationship, she was engaged, and once it didn't work out, she took some time to figure out why she always ended up in unhealthy relationships. I feel like I relate to that a lot. I wish she had explored that conversation a little bit more, but she didn't. Now, at first, she said she was engaged once. Come to find out, Miss Lady has been engaged 4 times. And I don't know, but I just feel like that scared Logan a bit. You could tell that he was taken aback by that information because he said, "Oh, don't tell me you're J-Lo collecting rings." But seriously, what's happening here? Why have you had that many engagements and no marriage? Now, I kind of get it because if you know it's toxic and you know it's not healthy for you, you don't want to go into a marriage because it's not going to get better. So I get it. But 4 engagements, that is a bit much to me. I take it that since she said her relationships have all been toxic, that's probably why it ended. And she also didn't mention that she has one child. But I don't know, that was a bit concerning to me. Tell me, do y'all think 4 engagements is a bit too much, or maybe I'm tripping? Please let me know. I want to hear from you. So we get to the next day, and Derrick is taking Phifer to the promise room. He's saying that prior to this experiment, he was very closed off until he met Phifer. He's hoping that his age doesn't matter because of the love that they share. Phifer says that she's confident in who Derrick has presented himself to be and hopes that he accepts her in spite of the age. And from her experience, she's had some really bad relationships and hasn't found someone who's opposite to what she is used to. So they get to the promise room, and he's saying how aligned they are on pretty much everything and how easy things have been for them. She says she never thought she would find such a great connection, and being with him is really refreshing to her. So they both agree that they want to continue their connection and exchange the promise rings to each other. He then reveals that his sons are 5 years and 15 years, and he is 43, but she says it's older than she thought, but she doesn't really care about that. She then reveals that she is 23, and I was pleasantly shocked by the age. 23 is a bit young, but I thought she would have been a bit older. He doesn't care, and they decide to continue to pursue their relationship. They sealed it with a kiss. So then Vanessa and Logan are on yet another date. She's telling him that she hopes she didn't scare him with the details of her past. He said he was trying not to take the mental notes, but he's trying to figure it out. Now you could tell he's put off by it because he's bringing up that there is such a huge age gap between them, but he's avoiding the question and he's throwing it at her because she wants to know how he feels about it. But he's like, well, what do you think? How do you feel? Now, once he does that, she looks offended by his comments because she does say in her confessional that this is raising some red flags for her, and she's spotting that there is some immaturity in him, and she doesn't like that. Now, if you don't like that, then why are you continuing on with the relationship? We'll get to that later. So Leah is taking Chris to the promise room. We also do see a glimpse of their dates. Again, no substance. There is nothing in this relationship besides compliments and saying, I like to see you, you look cute, and that sort of thing. She said he makes her feel seen. I don't know, Chris gives me the ick. Something about him just doesn't feel right to me at all. Anyways, he says that because of his experience with Vanessa, it wouldn't have had him value what he has with Leah. Now you could have seen me. I wish I could have seen me rolling my eyes, because what is it? Again, he's not really saying anything about her. He's talking about his relationship with Leah because of the relationship he had with Vanessa. Isn't that weird to you? That is certainly weird to me. Now they get to the promise room and they're throwing all of these compliments, and she's throwing all of these compliments at him, and not once did we hear him throwing one compliment at her, besides saying that he cannot wait to see where the connection goes, also known as he can't wait to get in your pants. Okay, that is what he's saying. They exchange these damn rings with each other. He then reveals that he is 26 years, and I am surprised, but it's kind of clicking to me because he does give 26. She then reveals that she is 41. He's shocked, but they both agree that they're excited to be living together and continuing the journey together because they both have never lived with a significant other. Then we see another conversation between Logan and Vanessa. She's saying that she needs some clarity from the conversation they had the other day. He also says that he needs to get some things off his chest. Now, more I see Logan, more I get the ick. I don't know. Something about him is just ew. It's just it's not going well with me. But anyways, y'all, he's saying that after the last conversation, he realized that he made a fool out of himself. She said that she has some concerns, like, is he really ready to commit? Is the age difference going to be a problem for him? Does he want to try, or is there anything holding him back? These are some of the questions she posed at him. He said that he was in his head, but he does want to continue to pursue the relationship. Furthermore, he wants to show the real him. So if you now want to show the real you, what version of yourself were you showing? I really want to know. So anyways, they head to the promise room, and honestly, I'm skipping all the speeches because I don't think this connection is genuine at all. I feel like this is forced, and I'm not going to waste my time taking notes about this fake connection. So they share the rings to symbolize the connection to their relationship. And then we get to the last part of this, the age. He says that he's 29 years. She says that she's 49. He looked like he was concerned. He wanted to run for the hills. But of course, he's going to save face and say that it's fine for him. Good for them. Now we see some of the couples who connect, and honestly, the age gaps are not bad at all. But we don't get to see these couples connecting. None of them are taking it to the next level of the experiment. I don't know why. I wish we got to see that. We only get to see the couples with the crazy age gaps from 18 years and more. I think 43 is the highest age gap, right? Anyways, those 6 couples will be moving on to the next step of the experiment. All of the couples are getting together. First, we see Phifer and Derrick, then John and Teresa, followed by Andrew and Libby. Then Chris and Leah walk in, who people are deeply surprised by their connection. I am not surprised because I question it too. But anyways, we then see Logan and Vanessa. And according to Libby, it's suspicious, and I'm with her on that. It's definitely suspicious. Lastly, we see Jorge and Vanelle walking in. Funny enough, Vanessa's asking about Leah and Chris's connection. Remember, she was seeing Chris too. Now, y'all, all Chris said is, well, we didn't speak to each other for a while, and it was just a natural thing. It just came natural. That's all it gave, right? That's all he said. What is this? So then Leah's like, wait, so what really happened between y'all? Why didn't it work out? Logan starts drinking. He just gulped that entire glass of champagne down, because why would she ask that if she knew the details already? Well, she doesn't know, because Chris never told Leah about what went down between him and Vanessa. So Vanessa's trying to keep it cute. She's like, well, it was a group date. And Leah's like, well, what happened? Did y'all kiss or something like that? And then it's like an awkward silence, which made her realize that they did share a kiss. So Leah just bursts out laughing. You could tell that she's embarrassed because she didn't know that information. Chris is now trying to smooth it over. And he's like, oh, there was wine involved, and we just gave a little peck. It was just a little peck action. The lies. You know it was more than a peck. Because they rolled back that tape and it wasn't a peck. Now, Leah says in a confessional that she's not having it. She's going to check that man because she shouldn't have to find out about that information with the group. This is something he should have told her before. So then we see a conversation with all of the girls, right? Phifer's sharing how she feels about Derrick having kids. And she basically says that she wouldn't be with him if not for his kids. So that just adds more to his character and makes him who he is, right? Then Libby also is asked how she feels because she's in the same boat with Phifer. She says, well, I second that motion. I feel like he's mature more and I like him more, and it brings more depth to his character, blah, blah, blah. So then in the guys' conversation, Andrew said that the only one female has ever met his daughter, and he wasn't going to allow another woman to meet his child unless he's certain that this is his person. So as they're talking, here comes Jorge saying that he has 2 children and he hasn't shared that with Vanille. And I'm like, what? You have what? Y'all, the way I dropped my remote, because what does he mean he hasn't told Vanille that he has 2 children? What is going on? Meanwhile, they're asking Vanelle if he has kids, and she doesn't know. She's like, no, he doesn't. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? The poor girl is letting them know that he doesn't want to have kids outside of marriage, and she's the same way too. Remember, that is what he said to Vanille. He doesn't want any baby mamas. That's what he said. He's lying, he's a liar, and he's probably been married too. Or did he just lie to get this girl? That's definitely what it's giving. He said whatever he needed to say to get Vanille, right? Or whatever he feels like Vanille needed to hear is what he said. And remember, he's an attorney. These are the best liars in the entire world. In case you didn't know, lawyers lie, okay? Then he had the nerve to say, oh, that's not a factor because we're here now. Having children should not be a factor. And oh, when I told her my age, she didn't blink. Excuse me, your age and having children are 2 different things. Because guess what, y'all? His kids are around the same age group as Vanille. And I'm like, why didn't you reveal that to her, Jorge? You know you're trifling and low down for that. You're wrong. You're wrong. And that's that manipulation that I've been talking about. What is going on with these guys, y'all? Now that's it for the recap. That's all for this episode. I need to hear from y'all because this episode, yeah, we have a lot to discuss. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Jorge not telling Vanille about his kids. I need to hear from you guys. Now, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who watches the show. And if you missed my episode 2 recap, go ahead and check that out right now. Thank you so much for watching Kay Unscripted, and I'll see y'all in the next recap.